Alright, in this video we are going to be talking about the yellow OP-05 cards. Once again, we're going to use this website. It's crudely translated, but it still works. And if I need to refer to proper translations, I'll refer it to the Discord. I'm not going to talk about the leaders. I'm not going to talk about energy. But yeah, we are going to jump into the yellow cards straight. And there's a lot of great ones, starting with Amazon. So 3 cost, 0 power, counter 1000. Don't know if the name is actually Amazon. I remember the characters, but I don't remember the name off the top of my head. But when your opponent attacks, you can put this character into rest. So you can rest this character. Your opponent may put the top card of their life into the trash. And if they don't, the opponent's leader or up to one character gets minus 2000 power during this turn. I actually really like this card. I'm interested to try a playset of this in future NL decks because it's just almost like giving something plus 2k counter if your opponent doesn't trash the top card of your life, which most of the time they won't want to. So this is pretty interesting, and you can kind of stack it up, have like a couple of it on your field, and you can just keep minusing, and so you are pretty safe. Or you can minus and then counter out of an attack, and then have another 2 like Amazons on the field. This is interesting. I think it's playable, but just the gut feeling. I need to test this to see if this would be worth playing in an NL deck in the future. But I'm excited to try it out for sure. The next is NL, or Energy, according to the translation. It's a 7 cost, 7000 power super rare with Rush, and once per turn, if this character leaves the field, you may put the top card of your life into the trash instead. This effect is negated if the character Monkey D. Luffy is present. So lore-wise, it's thematic, it makes sense. If Luffy is on the field, you don't get to revive NL, it just negates the ability. I've been playing NL, I've been playtesting it for a little bit. You can watch a gameplay video on the channel. This card is super strong. Like, it's so strong because not only is it a rush card that has 7000 power that you can play on 7, which is fine. You're swinging for 7k to your leader. It's a great attacker and a strong body on the field. But your opponent has to kind of think about whether or not they should be attacking your life or spend some resources trying to get rid of NL. Because not only can you counter out of attacks, it's a 7k base, which is pretty easy to counter out of big attacks. But let's say you don't have the counters for it, you can just bring it back by trashing the top card of your life. Sometimes it's necessary to give up your life to keep this guy around if you want to go for game. And the thing is, multiples of having NL on the field makes it super annoying for your opponent to deal with. You just drop it down, rush, swing in. Drop it down, rush, swing in. It's so good. This is going to be the new favorite staple for yellow. And I'm not only talking about it in the NL decks. I feel like Katakuri decks or Big Mom decks can use NL as a 7 cost rusher. And that's the great thing about this card. Sure, you would prefer to use the ability when you are at 1 life, so that when you proc this character NL's ability, you can proc the leader's ability and get another life back. But if not, it's just a solid 7 cost, 7000 power attacker. I love NL. I am excited to rock the super rare NL in the OP-05 metagame, so that's great. And next up is Omen. So 4 cost, 5000 power, counter 1000. If your life is at 2 or less, this character gains 1000 power, which is great. And on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to one holy card, or it's a card name, not a trait, that is called Holy, and add it to your hand. After that, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then you can play up to 1 Holy card from your hand. So this is a great card. It's not only a specific searcher, but it's a great body on the field. And if your life is at 2 or less, which NL, you start with 4 life, you're definitely going to get there. It just gets 1000 power. So you can easily attack into like 6000 power leaders, or you can pump it up with 1 Dawn and attack 7k into 5k leaders. This is a great card. And it works really well. If you already have Holy in your hand and you miss the search, it's fine. You can still play out Holy and kind of spam the board that way. I really like this card. Next up is Godatsu. Oh man, I got lots to say about this guy. So it's a 5 cost, 6000 power with counter 1000. And on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than your opponent's life. This is what yellow needed. This is what yellow needed in terms of removal. Because like in the early game, when your opponent's at 5, 4, 3 life maybe, this is super powerful. What we kind of dubbed it when I was playing in my playgroup, it's the yellow Marco the Phoenix. It has counter 1000 and it's a removal. The power level of Godatsu gets worse as the game goes on, because when your opponent is at 1 or 0 life, there's not a lot of targets that you can target with Godatsu, but you can use it still in your hand as a counter 1000. So Godatsu, really powerful, exactly the kind of super rare that yellow needed to kind of survive the early game of like Red Green Law, of Zoro, even like certain Whitebeard decks, or even the mirror when you want to KO a 4-cost Sanji blocker, a 3-cost Parasparrow, something like that. Godatsu is your guy. I love him so much. Great. Then we got Kotori, 3-cost 3000 power with counter 1000. On play, if you have a Hotori, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost less than or equal to the opponent's life. So it's another removal, but it is a removal that is dependent on you having a Hotori on your field. So it's not as powerful in my opinion. I think Godatsu is just the better pick for this type of effect. But you can play it if you want to. It's like middle of the pack. Definitely going to be one of the cards that people pass over to play Godatsu. So next up we got Konis, 1-cost 0 power with counter 2000. You can place up to, on play you can place up to 1 stage cards on the bottom of your deck, draw 1 card and discard 1 card from your hand. If you need to use the effect, you can. If you want to keep cycling through the cards and you want to look for something specific, you can play Konis and then put the upper yard stage card into the bottom of the deck, draw 1, discard 1, maybe you find an Annual and then you can go for game. That's the kind of situation Konis will be really, really good at. Other than that, it's a 2k counter. It has a Sky Island trait, so it is searchable. So that's great. Next, we got Satori. It's a 5-cost 5000 power with counter 2000. And the trigger is you can discard 1 card from your hand and make this card appear. So this is a great 2k counter because not only is it like a 2k counter, but if you trigger it from your life, you can play it out. It's a 5k body on the field. This is really good. I mean, last time, do you remember we have a 3-cost 5000 vanilla that requires you to trash your life and like, so that you can play it out. This one is a 2k counter. You can put it in your hand or you can play it out by just discarding 1 card from your hand. Great card, staple for yellow moving forward. That's so good. Okay, next up we got Ashura. This is 2-cost 2000 power with counter 1000. This is your dedicated Sky Island searcher. So look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the trait Sky Island other than Ashura, and then add it to your hand and put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. And the trigger ability makes this card appear. So you can just play this card if it's triggered from your life. That is why it's 2 costs instead of being 1 cost, similar to like the Nami East Blue searcher. But in Shura, it really works. It's a great card. It's a definite staple for NO decks that uses the Sky Island package. Next, we got Lieutenant Spacey, 3-cost 4000 power with counter 1000. And during your turn, once per turn, when your life is added to your hand, this character gains plus 2000 power during this turn. So, this would be good in a Big Mom deck because Big Mom can put 2 Dawns and then attack, and then you can swap. You can take 1 life and then you put 1 life back. So then you get an additional 2k power for Spacey, and you can attach 1 Dawn to him, attack him for 7k. It's a lot of hoops to jump through, which means that this is probably a card that people are not going to be looking at or people are not going to play, and I understand that. It's cool, but it's not strong enough for the current meta game. I think there's better, like I'd rather play a Parasparrow than a Lieutenant Spacey, something like that. Next we have Nora, a 5-cost 7000 power counter 1000. This is a searchable card because it does have the Sky Island trait. So if you need the vanilla to fill up your NO deck, then this is a great card to include. Is it Nora or Noba? I can't remember. Then we got Pagaya, 1-cost 1000 power with counter 1000. Once per turn, when a trigger card is activated, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards from your hand. This is one of those cards that I feel like it'll be fun to try out, not in an NO deck, but maybe in like a Katakuri or even a Big Mom deck that you can stack triggers on top, and then once you activate it, if this is on the field, you just draw 2, discard 2, and then you can kind of filter out the cards in your hand to kind of look for cards that you need. I don't think it's really that good because, it's just a 1-cost. It's almost like a stage card on the field, but it's worth trying out. I think it'll be quite fun if you have like a full-on trigger heavy deck, and then you just play a Pagaya, and then you just cycle through your deck. I don't know what you're going to look for, but it's possible. Next is Holy. This is the card that Omen is looking for. 3-cost 5000 power with counter 1000. This is great because you can play Holy out for free. Even if you don't play it out for free with Omen's ability, you can still play it out as a 3-cost 5000 vanilla. So it is still really, really good. Next, you have Hotori, 3-cost 3000 power with counter 1000. On play, you can play up to 1 Kotori card from your hand, then add up to 1 opponent's character with a cost of 3 or less to the top or bottom of your opponent's life face up. So yeah, yet again, you can, it's a semi-mini removal for things that are 3 or less. You could play it if you want to, if you see that there's a lot of like against like red green law decks and you don't have the Godatsu or you don't have any sort of removal. This can slow them down a little bit. People have been playing Pound, people have been playing other cards, even like Thunderbolt. So you could play this. I think it's like just middle of the road. I think that this card will be passed over in favor of other stronger cards. So there you go. Sorry, Hotori and Kotori. That's too bad. Next is Captain McKinley, 3 cost 3000 power, counter 1000 that has blocker, and on KO up to 1, play up to 1 character with a cost of 1 that has the Sky Island trait from your hand, and then just play it out for free. So yeah, you can play this to bring out a Cornis if you want to, if that's the kind of things, if you want to play Cornis, yeah, with that card, or you want to play a Pagaya with the Lieutenant's ability. Oh, sorry, the Captain's ability. You can. I don't think it's super good. I may just trade this off for a different blocker that if I need to play even blockers, I think there are better blockers out there, but you can use it if you want to. Yeah, I think it's okay. Next we got Yama. Yeah, and speaking of blockers, 2 cost 2000 power with counter 1000, and it's a blocker, and it's a searchable blocker because there's a Sky Island trait. So if you want to play Yama instead, that's great too. Alright, next is God's Judgment or El Thor. It's a 1 cost event card. Counter plus 2000 power for your leader or up to one of your characters during this battle. After that, if your opponent is at 2 or less life, that card gets additional plus 2000 power during this battle. And the trigger ability is to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than your opponent's life count. So first ability, this is Reverse Radical Beam. This is what yellow needed, dude. Not specifically Katakuri, because Katakuri wants to play like 10 cost Big Mom and you won't have any Dawn left over. But for Enel, which is a 7 cost 7000 power beater, you'll definitely have some Dawn left over and you can save up, keep up the Dawn to play this. So I feel like I'm so glad that yellow finally has a Radical Beam, because I feel like that's what yellow needed, like just solid counters, and this is what I've been waiting for, and it's great. The trigger ability as well, it's a great way to get rid of your opponent's early characters if it's triggered from your life, and you have like maybe 1 or 2 others God's Judgment in your hand, you can just KO one of your opponent's character. As long as the cost is equal to or less than their life, perfect. Great card. This is an absolute staple for yellow moving forward. Don't have to play the yellow Yamato event anymore, you can just play this. And then 200 million Raijin, Volts Raijin, 2 cost event card, main plus 3000 power for your leader or up to one of your character during this turn. After that, if your life is at 1 or less, put up to one of your opponent's characters cost 4 or less into rest. So you can rest one of your opponent's characters that cost 4 or less. So trigger ability is you can discard 2 cards from your hand, add up to 1 card from your top of your deck to your life. This is something that we've seen before in yellow, so that's great. This is interesting because you can rest one of your opponent's blocker. Maybe if you're going for game, then you can pump up your Enel by 3000 power, you can pump up your leader by 3000 power and then rest something and then go for game that way. Interesting card for sure. I think that this is maybe a tech card that you can slot in if you need to in certain meta games, maybe even against the Whitebeard that has a lot of counters. It's X similar like Fire Daruma, except it doesn't plus 4k, it just plus 3k. But you can, I can see this being played. I'm definitely gonna try this out if I need to. So that's great. And then we got the 30 million Raicho, or yeah, 3000 volts, something like that. Yeah, it's a 2 cost event card. Main KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost equal to or less than the number of opponent's life. It's Godatsu on an event card, and the trigger abilities activate this main effect. This is what yellow needed, man. This is what yellow needed. Early removal for some of these smaller characters. If you're not attacking to your opponent's life, you can KO something that's either 5 or 4 costs just like that with just a 2 cost event card. No need for Thunderbolt anymore. You can just play this. I think you should still run Thunderbolt if you want to have extra removal, because at the late game, Thunderbolt is really good. But this is great too. I have been waiting for good removal for yellow. Okay, like just early game removal, and here it is. Finally. And the last card for yellow is Upper Yard. So it's an 1 cost stage card. So on play, look at top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the trait Sky Island, add it to your hand, and put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is your searcher in a way, but it's a stage card searcher. And the great thing about this is you can use it with Cornis's ability if you want to, but other than that, you can just chain upper yard and then just keep searching. So it's a great card. It's a searcher, so I think it's definitely useful. Pretend it's like an ISO or something, except it's not on a body, it's just on a stage card. And there you go. So there you go. That's all the yellow cards. I think I covered every single card of the set. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be opening up a box of OP-05 on the 26th. Hopefully on the release date of 12 midnight itself. But if not, I am going to be doing a OP-05 case opening on Saturday morning, 26th of August, between 8 or 9 AM. I'll start. I'll put up the details soon. So look out for that. I'm excited to share what we will open from the case. And yeah, hope you guys can join me then. Thank you so much for watching all these review videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.